So, hi everyone, thank you for watching, and today I'm very honoured to be talking to Ashley Theophane, former British super lightweight champion and WBA super lightweight world title challenger as well. Ashley's had an incredible career so far, 59 professional fights over a lot of years, which is quite something, being in with some big names, and has fought all over the world. So today we're going to have a chat about his life, his career, his mental mindset and preparation for fights, a new book that he's just released called Raised by the Hood, which is very, very exciting, and a lot of other things. So thank you for watching, and like I said earlier, champ, thank you for taking the time to talk to me, by the way. I appreciate it very much. Yeah. Right, so starting at the beginning is a good place to start, really. Obviously, I'd like to look back in time a little bit now. Growing up in a very tough sort of part of London, a lot of negative influences around, a lot of a lot of bad elements going on. Obviously, just to start with the basics, I mean, you made it out of there when a lot of other people didn't, and a lot of other people sort of succumbed to, they thought, well, this is my lot, and they stayed there. You made it out of there. Now, I know you've talked about that a bit, so I want to come from a different angle. Is what actually gives you the drive to actually do that, the motivation? Where did that strength to sort of push out of there actually come from, do you think?
Like for sometimes you could be born into like a certain place, and you can think this is gonna be my life, my surroundings for the rest of my life, which it is for a lot. But for me, I had dreams to, to go to like the USA and to fight the best and to kind of change my life and to give, to enjoy my life, So coming from where I started, my mindset as a teenager was a certain way. Like I was like, this is it. I'm just gonna have fun and do what I do. But then I went jail. I was on remand, and then the 6 months on remand, I saw a lot of young guys getting like 10 years and stuff and going inside for life. And I was like, yo, I've got a skill here. If I get out, if I get found like not guilty, I'm going to change what I've been doing, and I'm just give my all to the sport, because the sport can help me, achieve like the goals that I have. So basically, like that's what went down. I got released, and then I just gave my all. I just stayed on my own, so like I couldn't get into no like issues and stuff. And then I just gave my all. So for me, it was determination, it was perseverance, and just kind of like a never say thing. Just just give your all. So for me, that's what kind of helped me to achieve what I have today. Even when I had the setbacks, I would feel down, but then I would just think, even now, I would think, how do I regroup to come again? Because you can always regroup. So that's just how my life has been.
It's a good insight into it, champ. It's a good insight. Now, another sort of aspect of that is obviously, you sort of took the plunge at quite an early age, and went to the US. As soon as you mentioned that, I want to go back there. No financial backing, no real support, no nothing.
I was broke, again, man. I was broke.
Yeah, for sure. But you still did it, man. I mean, that would have stopped some people. You know what I mean? Even being broke would have stopped some people, many people, I think. But obviously, like I say, you still took the dive, and it is that sort of thing. So again, I mean, I don't really have one question about it actually, but I'm just sort of opening up your experience of taking that dive and sort of going to the US, because I do that, champ. Sometimes I don't say, oh, it's just this. I mean, obviously you had the experience. So yeah, I mean, tell us a little bit about what that was like, man. I mean, was you nervous about it? Was you excited? I mean, what was the type of thing that was going on?
All right, cool. It's basically going by the book, because I have a big bit about how I went over there and I had no cash and what it was like, but to go by the book. But to go into it, so basically I wanted to go to the USA. I was 10 and 1 at the time. My auntie, she lives over there. I've never met her, but she lives over there. So my uncle, he asked her if I could stay at hers. she said yes, but she said she doesn't live near where I need to be. So she asked her niece, who had a spare room, like, can he stay here? I've never met him, but he wants to box. Do you know if he could stay at your house for a month? And Celine said yes. She opened up her doors to me. So I stayed at her house for the month. And to this day, that's 2005, like, we're still great friends, like, to this day. Because without her, I may never have gone on to achieve what I did, because she opened up her home. I couldn't afford a place there. And then she let me stay there. And basically, whenever I wanted to come over, I would just say, Celine, I'm coming over. And she would be like, cool, just come. So then I was in America, I was in New York, and then I went into the gym, like Gleason's gym, and the atmosphere there was very hard, very harsh, very scary, because I'm not from there. But the coaches just showed me love, you know, and even the ones that I didn't work with. At first I went around and I watched everyone, and then I chose a coach, Lennox Blackmore. Lennox Blackmore fought Aaron Pryor back in the 80s. And so he was working at the time with Virgil, what's his name? He was working with 3 world champions. So yeah. I went with him because there was a Caribbean link as well, because he's from like the Caribbean, and my dad is, and my mum is part it. So but yeah, the whole gym, they just kind of showed me love, and the thing is, I really, that's why I like America, because I find that if you're with the right group, that they feed you. If you have a dream, a goal, that they will say, yeah, you can achieve it. Like, so I went there. I wasn't really known over here. I didn't get no love over here. But I went over there, and these guys were saying, nah, I'm good enough to be world champion. I was like, what? I've never heard that from anyone but myself. Or, you know, so I had so many of these guys saying that you were good, you were this and that. And so I just started to go there on trips. And Dimitri Salita, we sparred. He liked me. We got on, and then he started to fly me out there. So then I was getting camps with him. So that's what I'm saying. They just kind of brought me in, and they just showed me love. And then I was there for 7 years. Within the 7 years of being in New York, I beat the world number 3. I got ranked world number 4. Then I fought, the Marcus Corley, like Garcia, and then that's when I was British champion. So I came back home to be British champion, but I still trained there. And then I wanted to change because I was going to New York so much. That's when I went over to Vegas to train with Floyd. And then I walked in there, and the money team was so cool to me again. Everyone, they were like, they showed me love. A few of them have seen my fights on ESPN. And then this gym now again on the other coast is telling me that I could be world champion, and I'm good enough to beat all these different champs. So for me, the USA just always just embrace me. That's why I've just always liked that place.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, man, it makes a lot of sense. You know, it's one of those things, it's off topic, but I've always said the same, man. When I work with Americans, they've got a different mindset to us in a lot of ways, you know, man. All right, good stuff. Now, as soon as you touched on working with Floyd and all that type of thing, you know, that's amazing. Now, even though we're jumping forward in time a little bit, I want to talk about that, like that whole experience. I mean, I've been lucky actually to meet Floyd, and he seemed like a lovely guy. Obviously, you worked with him a long time, so you'll have a different perspective. But yeah, I mean, what was your experience working with the money team like? Again, it's not really one question. It's just sort of the whole, because you've been through all these hardships, you know, all these years of, you know, traveling back and forth, and you know, taking tough fights, going into tough gyms and all this, and eventually, you know, he takes an interest. So yeah, I mean, what was your experience like of working with him, basically? If that makes sense.
Like, so with Floyd, I went over there for a 2-week trip. He showed me love. So when I lost the British, I thought I didn't have no opportunities here. So I thought, you know, a year had gone by, and I said, you know what? Floyd was cool to me a year ago. I'm going to see if I can go over there and get on to TMT. And Ishe Smith had just won the world belt, like, at that time, and he was a bit older than me. So I was like, if Ishe Smith can do it and we've had a kind of same career, then I could do it too. So I went over there. I started to spar with everybody there. I was, you know, I was possessed. If there was a name there, if there was like a former world champion, a guy who was ranked, we were the same weight, I wanted to spar you. So I basically sparred with everyone. I done very good. Floyd had shown me love in the past anyway, but when he found out that I had like some big fights, the decisions had gone against me, we would go out for runs, and then Floyd would just be like, I want to help you. I believe that you could be world champion. And it just kind of started like that. It was the Robert Guerrero camp where he said that he's now signed me. And then the first 3 years with Floyd was great because Floyd was in camp, so he was around, so we had a good relationship. I got to spar with Floyd, which was, for me, it was fun because I'm sparring the best at the time. So I had fun with that. I got paid as well. Then I done so well with Floyd that he bought me a brand new car, which again, you know, is great. So for me, there's many people who, you know, they might say bad things about Floyd or this and that. But one thing about him, he's helped so many guys' careers. He didn't have to sign me. I ain't no big name, but he took a shining to me. And he even said a lot of the guys he signs will not be world champion, but at the end of the day, a lot of us, we have families, we have kids at home, and, you know, he just wants to help us to make some cash as well. So for me, it was good. The first 3 years was good with Floyd, but when Floyd retired, you know, there wasn't so many shows, so then I only fought, from when he retired, I basically just fought like twice in 2 years. So that was I had 15 months left on my deal. And that's kind of why I wanted to leave, because I was like, I'm getting older now and I want to retire soon. So I was like, I just want to be active. So then when I did part ways with Floyd, again, that was another kind of low because I've left TMT. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm in the place. But then I thought, you know what? I wanted to fight back home because I hadn't fought back home in so long. So then I went on a world tour, and then I fought like 10 times in 9 countries and then achieved my 50th professional win. But the memories and the times I shared with Floyd and TMT, those are times that I'll always, you know what I'm saying, it'll always be great, because that's like saying the greatness he is like being with the Ali of our time, in the sense of like the greatness. So for me to be part of his team when I'm from here, like I used to watch him on Sky and I was a fan, you know what I'm saying? I was a fan that just went over there, and then he's like, yo, do you want to join my team? So yeah, so it was cool. So he helped me to change my life and to put my name out there. You know, I may not have become world champion, but, you know, without Floyd, I would have like retired like years ago, like 2012, I would have been over. So he helped my career a lot.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, I agree. You know, I mean, the amount of people he's helped is amazing, you know, especially when you read up on it. I don't think people realize, you know, I think
Yeah,
people see the flash and they slag him off.
yeah,
But actually, yeah, he's a really nice guy, you know. Just going back a minute before, because I want to get to a few things, but just want to go back quickly. The British title, though, I mean, when you won that, I just want to go
yeah,
back there. You know, when you beat Lenny Dawes, you won the British title.
yeah,
I mean, even at that time, though, even though that was earlier on, you'd been through a lot of stuff to get there. You know, I mean, you'd had
yeah,
quite a few fights by that time.
yeah.
What did it feel like to get there, though, and be champion of, you know, obviously, of the UK? I
See,
mean, what sort of went?
for me,
Yeah,
beating Dawes, he was, I think he was like, in the sense of being a British champion, I think he was great. I think he was very good at what he did. I think he was a great British champ. So when I was amateur, he was the man. Like, he was like the king at like welterweight. So as an amateur, he was the guy over here, and then he went on to be pro, and he was the guy in the pros. So I always wanted to fight him from when we were amateurs. So when I was world number 4, Mick Hennessy, his match they tried to they asked me if I wanted to fight like one of their other guys. And then I said, no. I said, I'm in America. I've just beaten the world number 4. The only fight that interests me that I will come back for is Dawes. So they made the fight. And for me, in my mind, I was just coming back for one fight because I was world number 4. I had been asked to do a world title, eliminator, and then I turned that down to fight Dawes. So, like to fight Dawes, it was kind of to prove the doubters wrong because I had left the UK. I was doing my thing in the USA, but I had never really been shown no love over here. So it's like I wanted to come back to beat up like one of their boys. So I was kind of more like just driving determined. So when I did win, yeah, man, it felt great, you know, to be like the champion of where you're from is a very big deal. You know, there was a lot of folks who were proud of me because this is where I'm born, this is where I'm from. So to be champion of that. So for me, I was proud of myself, and I made a lot of folks proud at the same time. So while I was British champion, I was very proud, but at the same time, it was kind of weird for me because I would go off to America to train for 3 months. I'm sparring with all these world champions. I'm sparring with all of these world ranked guys. And then I'm coming back home to like fight guys who are, you know what I'm saying, are British. So it was hard for me to motivate myself a lot of times. And that kind of may have gone how I lost the British as well, because motivation. But at the same time, if I didn't lose the British, I wouldn't have ended up with TMT because I lost the British. I couldn't get no fights here. And then it was my last chance to lose. That's why I said I'll go over to America to try to get onto TMT. So without losing the British, I may never have joined Floyd and then got to fight at the MGM and got the headline there and then got to fight for the world belt. So again, when the downs, we all go through downs, but it's how you come back, to me, that makes you. So I think for me, I've come back good a lot of times.
Yeah, 100%. And funnily enough, champ, I mean, that's something else that I do want to sort of touch on here because, you know, you've bounced back from adversity. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm from basically, in some ways, from failure. I mean, you've bounced back so many times, and you keep pushing until you get there. Now, it's the same type of thing. I mean, you know, a lot of people give up, a lot of people, whatever. I mean, how do you personally sort of keep that fire burning, even when you've lost fights, even when, you haven't got certain opportunities at certain times, and, you've always sort of bounced back for something better. You get what I'm saying? How do you sort of keep the fire going mentally and things like that?
You know what? You got to set yourself goals. You got to set yourself goals. Because say with me, I left TMT. What am I going to do now? Like, what next? So for me, there was nothing there. I don't want to be British champion again. I'm not going to fight for the world belt again. So I might as well quit. So that's when I said, you know what? I'm going to go on a world tour for 2 years, have 10 fights. So for me, I always set goals, like say, like with now. I could retire now. I might retire now. I don't know. But I'm kind of holding on to fight one more time back home because I haven't fought home in 8 years. So for me, I've achieved everything I've wanted in this sport. I've made some great friends in this sport. So for me now, I'm pretty much just holding on because I would love to fight back home like one last time. And then that's why, again, I've written my book. So that's another goal. And then I'm setting my plans to open up my gym. Hence, I'm now starting to promote the gym that I need to open up. So I'm just trying to find the spot now. So for me in life, I think you always have to set yourself goals because when you do achieve that goal, what next? I've done it now. So plan the 10-year plan, but you always should be trying to work towards another goal. And that's just how I keep myself. I get up in the morning and then I'm on like the goal because I got things to do in my day. If it's not staying in shape or I got to read over my book to look at it, or I got to look for gyms. So for me, I'm always trying to also do things that people say I can't do. So again, I got a stutter. I've had a stutter like since I was 5 years old, but I still do talks. I still go to schools and stuff, and I still do talks. So for me, I always try to do things that people say I can't do, or I try to also do things that I don't want to do, but I know that it's good, like, for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I absolutely love the message, man. It's working. It's amazing.
Mm.
Now, I want to sort of get onto the book, actually, because that's another thing. Now, you've written the book. Obviously, it's you know, it looks amazing, but I want to come at it from a different point of view. Is obviously what actually gave you the idea to write the book in the first place? And the reason I ask that is people always think, oh, he wrote a book, like that's cool. But I'm just sort of curious as to what it is that, like, you know, first give you the idea, first inspired you to sort of get your life, you know, on paper type of thing. I mean, what was the reason in the beginning for that?
Adrian Mole. Are you old enough to know who he is? So
I've heard of
Adrian
him, but
Mole.
I don't know.
Adrian Mole. In the 90s, there was a book out called The Diaries of Adrian Mole, 13 and a half, or something like that.
Yeah. I remember that now.
I used to
Yeah,
love his books. So I used to read all of his books. So as he was a teenager, he wrote about his life and what he was going through. So when I was like 12 or 13 years old, I started to have a diary as well. So when I started going to America, I started to write a diary. So whenever I was in training camp, I have a diary of that camp. So that's going from 2005 to being with Floyd and my last fight with Floyd. So I got diaries throughout the year. So half of the book is diaries throughout me being in camp, what's going through my mind, what I'm going through, and what's happening in camp. And then some of it, and then in some of it, just me. And then at the first half of the book, I chat about my childhood, what I went through as a kid, my teenage years, going jail. And so it's kind of split into two halves. And then, so you got the one half that's about my life before I kind of turned pro. And then from when I kind of turned pro, it's just a bunch of diaries going from like 2005 to when I leave Mayweather Promotions. So hence, there's loads what went on while I was with Mayweather Promotions. Some of it I've taken out, but some of it I've kept in as well. Because I also, judging, some of my friends have read the book. I could just do a book about life with Floyd and just do it like that. Or I could just talk about my childhood as well, because London right now, we have a bad like knife crime and whatever it is, like gangs and all that. But when I was their age in the 90s, I used to be doing a lot of what they're doing now. So that's what kind of drove me to end the book, because I wanted to go to schools and to do these talks and then to give these kids a book and say, yo, I used to be just like you, but I changed my life, and like here's my book. So that's kind of what drove me to get the book to end, because I wanted to get in these schools to try to help these kids. So that's kind of why the book is now done.
Right. It makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because people, you know, people write books and people think, oh, that's cool. But I
Yeah.
just had the feeling there was like a message behind it. You know what I mean? I had the
Yeah.
feeling there's something more to this than just, oh, I fancy
Yeah.
writing one. It makes sense. I
Yeah.
love the message, man. Because I know with the knife crime and all that, man, it's crazy, man. I mean, it's like,
Yeah,
because
it's
I'm
not.
in
And
Wales.
a lot of these kids, they just think this is going to be their life forever, and they don't know that there's a world out there. So it's weird, because
Yeah.
the first half of my book, I talk about my surroundings, a lot of stuff that was going on. A lot of guys got kidnapped, they got killed, and these were like friends of mine or whatever. So if you read the book, then you see the way the book ends, that I ended up being with Floyd. I went through so much shit being a pro here. Then I got with Floyd, and then my whole life changed, and I started to get paid the big bucks. And then I started to see like a next world. It just shows you that if you do change your life and you stop doing what you're doing, which is going to end in jail or dead, that you too can live a great life without crime.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I want my book to be seen, is that someone who stopped being around the bad stuff and just changed his life, and he fulfilled his dreams. So, so that's kind of what it is, man, the aim.
I love it, man. I absolutely love the message. I mean, the world needs it, man. I mean, the world
Yeah,
110%.
100%.
Yeah, and I honestly, brilliant. Now, the other thing about that is about the book is just on the other side of it. I mean, what is it actually like seeing your life in print, though? I mean, it's one of those things where, I mean, I've got no idea what it's like just to see your life there and see it complete like that. I mean, I imagine it's a good feeling. I hope so. But I mean,
Well, for me, I haven't got one here. If I got one here, I haven't got one here because my mum's got it. Yeah, so basically for me, I'm proud of myself because I've been writing this book for maybe 15 years, like over 10 years. So I've been telling folks for years, I'm doing this book. I'm doing this book. So everyone's like, all right, Ash, you've been chatting about this book for so long now, whatever. So the lockdown, that helped me to finish the book. So that's what I'm saying. And it's great to see the book actually there. But at the same time, there's a lot of stuff that I write about that went on like 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And there's maybe some of my friends or there's you know what I'm saying, this family that won't like that I've put that out there. Because some things, they just stay within the community and they never get out there. My book already has been bought in the USA. Some folks in Toronto have bought it. So my book is going, it might not sell no huge thing. I don't really care about that. But folks all over the world are going to read the book. And, I want to share it because I just want folks to know that, the way you start your life, it doesn't mean it's the way you're going to end your life. And so that's kind of for me. So I'm hoping my book can help make some change. So I'm hoping to get on the TV to talk about it, and that's what I hope. So that's my kind of aim. I don't really care about what I achieved with Floyd. It's kind of, I would like to show the kids that you can change your path. So that's kind of why my book got done, because that's what I want to do with my life after the sport, is do more of that.
yeah. I love it, man. Like I say, I mean, I know it's off topic for us talking, but it's a fantastic message, though. Just saying that because, yeah, like I say, the world needs it, man. I mean, this knife crack is crazy. I mean, I'm in Wales, right? That's where I'm calling from, and we don't have as much of that stuff in the same way. But there's a lot of problems with drugs and things, and kids they need to know, that there's something better, because oftentimes they don't see it. If you're growing up and you've never seen someone do well or whatever, you don't know. And I love it, man. All right, now one other thing. Well, there's only a couple more questions anyway, but I just want to go back to a little bit earlier on about your world title challenge. And I know, obviously, anyone watching this, you want to know more, read the book, guys. Anyone listening to this, read the book. But I do want to touch on your, obviously, the world title challenge, because it's an amazing achievement, especially because of everything that happened to you before and everything you've gone through. So I mean, your world title challenge. Again, I know this is a thing. I don't have one question about it. What was just the whole experience of what it was like to fight for a world title for you? Before, over to you.
All right. So basically, going into fight. So I've had to read through the diaries that I've done because I'm doing the book. The book's done, and I believed 100% that I could beat this guy. I was in such great shape. And in the gym, I was in great form. Everything was on point, and I really believed I could beat him. But on, even the ring walk itself, I like, the hard work's been worthwhile. I'm born like for this. So I enjoyed the occasion. It didn't get to me. I wasn't like scared like by it. But sometimes it's important to bring your training form to the fight. And I just feel that I didn't perform to my best to the fight. But at the same time, our plan was to take over like from round 8, but I got stopped in round 9. So I think rounds 7 and 8, I won those rounds. I had 2 good rounds. And then he came at me in the 9th round. I got hit low. I complained to the referee, and the referee thought I was quitting, and he stopped the fight. So it's kind of burns me that it got stopped. Not because I was hurt, but because the referee didn't see the low blow. So when I complained, he thought I was complaining about being hit or whatever it was, or trying to quit. So that was hard for me to take, but at the same time, everything I went through to get that far. You know what I'm saying? I was proud, and to fight for the world belt, that's always a goal. You know what I'm saying? To be British champion's cool, to fight all over the world's cool, to be on, TMT's cool, but to fight for the world belt, as a kid, I watched all of these big fights in America, and I'm seeing to be part of that for me was great. I didn't get the result that I wanted, but again, it proves that with hard work, you can do anything. Because my hard work and my belief in me is what got me that shot off after, I think that was 13 years. It took me 13 years to get that far, and I never quit. There was many times I could have quit because I was broke and I didn't have this and that. I was like, I'm going to go get a job because I haven't got no cash. But, I stuck with it, and it paid off.
100%. Yeah, it's amazing. It's another thing that just shows people, what's possible with, even just by saying that, with hard work and dedication, as Money says.
Yeah.
So okay, so all right, cool. So moving on from that, then, another thing to touch on with the fighting, just this is a good one, is obviously in recent times. I mean, you've been all over the world. So I mean, you've had like Romania and Poland and Hungary and Ghana and obviously the UAE, and you've been all over the show, man. You've been some really cool places. Of those, all those places you've been and things like that, do you have like a favorite one? Do you have like any? I mean, maybe there's more than one. I don't know.
All right, three come to mind. St. Lucia, I did have fun there because that's where my dad was born. So
okay.
I was very proud to fight there. That was 13 years ago, I think. Then going to Ghana, that meant a lot to me because my first coach, the AEK, who's from All Stars, he was from there, and he spoke about the place for so many years. So for me, it was nice to go to where he's from, because he was like another dad. So to go to where he was from, it was so nice, and they were so cool with me as well. So I had fun there. Then when my friend put on a show in Dubai, that was a great show in Dubai. So so I've been to some spots where it's been enjoyable, and I've had fun. And then USA is where I always wanted to go, and it's because of USA that I got to live the life that I hoped for as a child. So yeah, man. So I just love to fight abroad.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing, man, because obviously, just on a different level. Obviously, I've followed your career for a long time anyway, and just watching you sort of pop up in these different countries, I think, man, I think fair play, like you see in the world, and
Yeah.
it's
Some
so awesome.
folks would laugh at some of the spots that I fought at, because I fought like all over the place in some like little shows. But for me, it's great to go to these places and they have a show on and they actually know who I am. They know what I've achieved, and they show me so much love. The guys who are on the show as well, who are going to fight, it inspires them that someone like me that's achieved so much is on their show. So they're like, wow, there's actually Theophane on my show. Like, oh. So for me, I've just got such a good reception, like going all over the world. Like, it's a shame that, it's just been nice, man, like to fight all over the world and to be shown love. And man, so I always remember these days to the day I die, and hence I'm glad that, I got to write my book so I could write these things down and what they feel. Because say one day I'll be old, and then I could read my book and be like, oh, I remember that, So yeah, man, it's cool, man. Like, at the end of the day, you got to do what you are content with. You can't really care about what outsiders think about what you're doing in your career. So for me, I've always done it my way, and everything I've done, majority of the time, it's panned out like for me. So I'm glad that I've been hard the way that I am. You know, the only thing that's left for me to do is to fight back home, and then I'll be content, and then I can say bye. You know what I mean? So you see.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. All right then. So it's only like two things, maybe three. I don't know. There's not a lot
All
now.
right.
And one
All
of the
right.
things I do want to touch on is it's probably an easy one because you've probably talked about this a lot. But out of the or all the fights that you've had, which one was the toughest one, man? I'm sure you get asked that all the time, but I want to throw it in there. Um,
Yeah. Ali Ubali,
okay.
French Moroccan guy.
Yeah.
He was my debut in the USA 2008.
Yeah.
I lost that fight. Many reporters thought it should have been a draw, but it was like a fight of two halves where he won the first half, and then I think I won the next half. And he was just very strong. And it was just kind of a shock to me. I thought I was gonna go in there and just beat him easy, but he was just very tough and very rough. And then another fight that I lost was my debut with Mayweather Promotions against Pablo Cesar Cano. That man had bricks in his hands. He hit me so hard. I've never been hit that hard in my life. He went on, I think 2 years ago, he stopped George Linares in one round.
Yeah. I
So,
remember.
so that shows how strong. And I lost a split, like, to him. So George Linares is some great world champion. He didn't even lose a round. So the man had bombs in his fist, and I lost the split. It was a very tough fight, but again, that proves to me that I had what it takes, because when you're losing a fight and you bite down and then you fight back, I think that says a lot about you. So that's what I did, and I lost, but it still panned out.
Yeah.
And he went on to do some good things as well, because he went on to beat George Linares. So now I can say his name. I can link the two. I lost a split to him, and George got smoked in a round. So
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's it. It's a bit of history there. Good
Yeah.
stuff. All right. So another thing is, I mean, one of the questions I like to ask people is sort of about advice to the youth. Now, I know we've touched on that a little
Yeah.
bit. But this is something I had in mind to ask you for a while.
Yeah.
I know, and again, for anyone listening to this, read the book because I know it's all in there. But just to touch on it a little bit for what we're talking
Yeah.
about. Someone wants to succeed in life, I mean, if you're talking to, young amateurs, if you're talking to, maybe guys just turning pro, or maybe if it's people that it's not even boxing, they don't even want to box, they want to do something else, but they want to do well in it, you know what I mean? Like, what would some of your advice be? I mean, what would you say to them if you was in that situation talking to them, if that makes sense?
So basically, I think it's very hard for the youths of what's going on, but you just have to, you have to work hard. You have to network. That's so important, to network. Try find a mentor as well, because mentors are very important. I had a mentor for 8 years, and he helped me so much. So I think mentors, I think you need a mentor. You need to network, and you got to work hard, because sometimes, even if you don't have the resources and stuff, use what you have. Because in Nigeria, there is some kids, they're filmmakers, but they didn't really have no good stuff, but they still made some great films. And because Netflix saw what they was doing, Netflix sent them a bunch of stuff. So even if you haven't got the resources, that's never an excuse. You still can do it if whatever you can find around you, So you have to, man. Like, you just have to make the most. I believe we have one life here, and you have to make the most of your life, and you also have to give back as well. If you can give back, if you've achieved anything, if someone's helped you, a lot of us have got help to get to where we are in life. So if you can help someone else that's trying to achieve a goal, you should try to help them if you can.
Yeah, 100%. I love the message, champ. I love it. All right then. So I think the last one, to be honest, is going to be, you know, well, actually saying that, I think of one other thing, but just as a quick one, I mean, being remembered as a fighter now. I mean, I know you're saying you've got one more to go, and then you're going to
Yeah.
hang on that, which is cool. But and I know, and I love the message about following your heart, being content with yourself. Completely agree. But in terms of yeah, like being remembered, by others as a fighter. I mean, how do you want to be remembered? How do you think you'll be remembered after you've retired?
All right, so for me, for the small hall, like if you go for the small hall thing, I like to go to small hall shows because 99% of them won't even become British champion. But I went to the top of the world and around the world. So for me, I hope that my career shows it doesn't matter if you don't have the support at the start, that you can still go on to do some great things. Yeah. So for me, I just want to be like remembered as a guy that just didn't quit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't quit. I gave my best. And you know what I'm saying? I wasn't a world champion, so I can't say I'm a world champion, but I achieved. There's some world champions that haven't even achieved a lot of what I have. So, so I think I've done well. And you know what I'm saying? I would like to hope that the generation that are coming up just don't quit. Just don't quit, man, because that's a lot of times we feel like quitting. I felt a lot of times to quit. And there's many times if I did quit, I would not have achieved like so much. So my thing would just be don't quit. Don't quit.
Love it. It's a great message. And the last one, I mean, because we've already talked about this a little bit, so there's not a lot of stuff. But obviously, you mentioned about opening the gym, and you mentioned that, and obviously, it gets me to thinking about obviously, where you're going from here, because you've got some exciting things going on. You've got the book come out. You've got the gym. So, what's your sort of future goals now in that sense? What's sort of driving you, from here, basically?
For me, when I retired from the sport, at first I used to say that I would like to manage the next generation of guys. But I'm actually enjoying being a coach. So you never know, I could be a coach. I have my gym. I want to use my gym to help a lot of kids get off the streets. As I said, I have my book here where I want to get it into schools and I want to go to jails to do talks. So I kind of like the Mr. AK, the guy who founded All Stars Gym. His life, what he led, is kind of, I want to continue what he done, because he done so much for his community. I want to take the baton like from him. He's died now. He died like last year. But I want to take the baton from him and then run with it. So I want to help out this generation of kids. So that's kind of what I want to do, to be honest with you. Like I've done my stuff in the sport. I would just like to help kids and some adults like just go and things. So that's kind of like my aim. And everyone always needs help. So I could be doing that stuff to the day I die. So, that's kind of my hopes and dreams.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, man, it's good work, and like I say, it needs doing. And I love the
Yeah.
fact that that you're keeping going with new goals, new dreams, and not sort of
Yeah.
capping it at a point. I love that. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
champ. I mean, that's everything that I wanted to talk about. To be honest with you, the only
It's been
other
an
thing.
hour, man. I could talk. It's been an hour.
I know, right? Because I was thinking, it'd be like half hour or something, man. But oh man,
I can
that's a
talk.
good sign, though. That's a good sign. But yeah, nah, like I say, I appreciate it. I mean, I appreciate you taking the time, and I appreciate you being so open, and I know you are like that anyway. But I do appreciate you sort of opening up to talk about these different things.
Yeah.
And it's been good, man. I'm grateful for your time.
Full
Yeah.
love, my man.
Oh, love. Yeah.
Thank you
So.
very much for watching. Please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel, and there'll be more videos coming soon.